We're back with a stunning new revelation in the legal fight over a controversial voter ID law in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. In a document filed ahead of a hearing tomorrow, Republican officials say, quote, there have been no investigations or prosecutions of in-person voter fraud in Pennsylvania. The state agreed not to offer any evidence or argument that in-person voter fraud is likely to occur in November 2012 in the absence of the photo ID law. Folks, this is big. It directly contradicts what the state's governor said back in March when he signed the voter ID bill into law.
Contrary to some claims, this bill does not interfere with anyone's legal right to vote. It prevents people from cheating in our elections. Some have argued that there is no evidence of voter fraud. I don't necessarily agree with that. This is a law of prevention. It is to prevent voter fraud.
This law isn't about voter fraud. It's about winning in November, as one of the state's top Republicans admitted last month.
Voter ID, which is going to allow Governor Romney to win the state of Pennsylvania. Done.
Joining me now is State Senator Dalen Leach, Democrat from Pennsylvania. He's been a leader in the fight against the new voter ID law there, and he plans to introduce a bill to repeal it. Senator, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me tonight, Reverend.
Now, state officials admitting there's no evidence of in-person voter fraud in the state. How do you respond to that?
Well, this is really stunning, Reverend. I mean, first of all, there's a court hearing tomorrow where the state has to defend the constitutionality of this law. And one of the things they have to prove is that the state has a compelling interest, because it's a fundamental right to vote. They have a compelling interest in this law. Well, how do you have a compelling interest in solving a problem that never happens? As you pointed out, they've been saying for months, we have to pass this law because, and it was always sort of undefined, a lot of voter fraud, many, many cases. We don't even know how many. Well, now we do know how many. Zero. Nothing at all.
And they're saying it. They're admitting zero. They're admitting there's nothing there.
That's correct. That's been our position for months. Now they have finally admitted it. So they are left with an extremely weak case in court. They have to go in and convince a judge that this law is needed to stop a problem in the future that has never, in 180 years since photography was invented, happened in the past.
It is quite an admission, and particularly when we played the tape where they've said this is about fraud, where they said that we've got to deal with the problem when there is no problem. This is a solution looking for a problem.
You're absolutely right, and it's not their only admission since we passed this bill. They've also, when they passed the bill, they said over 99% of people already had the ID they needed to vote. Now they've admitted 9.2%, 758,000 Pennsylvanians will be disenfranchised. That's also their admission. We think it's more than that, but even that number, disenfranchising 758,000 Americans to stop a problem that never, ever happens. This is about one thing, and it's about what Leader Turzai said. It's about electing Republicans in the fall.
State Senator Dalen Leach, thank you for your time tonight. Thanks for all of you watching. And let me say, Republicans have been screaming fraud, protecting the dignity of the vote. Then when it comes down to it, nothing there. I keep telling you, fish wouldn't get caught if they kept their mouth shut. Thanks for watching. I'm Al Sharpton.